Hi everybody, happy Thursday. I am back with another brand new book to share with you. And this book is Dalmartian. It is written by Lucy Ruth Cummins and it's published by Simon & Schuster. And we want to thank them for allowing us to share this book with you today. So, are you ready to find out what this book is all about? Let's get started. And what does this look like on the end pages? Does that look like spots? Dalmartian. The visitors came to Stephen's yard one otherwise ordinary summer night. Do you see them? What kind of visitors? Quietly and carefully, they went about their work, collecting, bagging, and tagging specimens. Then, very suddenly, they had company. The visitors raced to reboard their ship. One of the visitors wasn't quite quick enough, so one was left behind. Uh-oh. Stephen invited the guest into his home. The guest graciously accepted. After giving him the tour, Stephen showed his guest to his room. At first, Stephen and his guest disagreed about the sleeping arrangements. Do you see this? He wants the whole bed. Not quite sure how this is supposed to work, is it? But eventually they came to a comfortable compromise. This is what sleeping with Charlie looks like, doesn't it?
Yep.
The following morning, Stephen served his guest a delicious breakfast. Stephen's guest wasn't hungry, but he did make a polite effort to taste what was offered. They eventually reached another compromise. Do you see this? He is so not interested in dog food, is he? And do you see what the compromise is? Can you tell? It's bacon. It went over well. Let me tell you, Murphy and Charlie would rather eat bacon too. After breakfast, Stephen suggested a walk and some fresh air. They finally did get walking and fresh airing. But first, to get walking and fresh airing, they had to get on the same page. You see this? The dog wants to walk Stephen. They're not really in agreement, are they? As they walked, Stephen told his guest about the town's founders and about the local industry. He pointed out historic homes and told his guest about the Winter Carnival, and he also spoke proudly of the time at the Winter Carnival he had puked not once, but twice after riding the tilt-a-whirl. At that point, they reached the park. And do you see them walking together? Do you ever get sick when you ride spinning rides? Stephen was sure his guest would enjoy tossing the ball around. But Stephen was very wrong. And to make matters worse, the other noses at the park were very nosy. See that? That looks like our dogs, doesn't it? They're very nosy. And to make worse matters worse, they made their business everybody's business. On their walk home, Stephen pointed out the local flora and fauna and the various restaurants that had opened and closed over the years in a particular location. Cursed. And he spoke of his fondness for mustard on hamburgers and how he loathed ketchup. Then they had supper together. That night, Stephen went to bed, but his guest stayed up and stared hopefully at the night sky, expecting his crewmates to return. When the sun rose, his heart sank. But the following morning, they had breakfast, a walk, and another laugh. Are they laughing at the dogs all dressed up? After supper, Stephen shared his favorite book in his favorite spot with his favorite guest. Charlie is not that interested, is he? That night, Stephen's guest went straight to sleep. And that same night, they came back. They came back for him. And so Stephen's guests quietly departed. Since their journey home would be a long one, they decided they should all get some rest. All but one did. Stephen's guests lay awake and thought about home. He thought about bacon, of course, but mostly he thought about Stephen, his host, his friend. Stephen himself suddenly woke up thinking about his guest, his friend, who he discovered was no longer there. Stephen's heart sank, and at that very moment, far, far away, Stephen's friend felt where home was, and he headed in that direction. You see him? Looks like he's going back, isn't he? So when the sun rose the next morning, they were both right where they belonged. They would always be close. But they did decide to always keep their business to themselves. See that? The dog is using the bathroom. And we really need to teach our dogs how to do that, don't we? The end. So, what did you think about this story? Did you enjoy it? Let me know on our Instagram page. I will be back next week with another brand new story to share. So until then, everybody have a great weekend, and I'll see you back here soon. Bye for now.